Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. And here's an interesting statistic for you all. If you would have started investing in an S&P 500 index fund literally 5 years ago, today you would have a total return upwards of 54% on average. And yes, to the naysayers out there who don't understand finance or how Wall Street works, that includes the current market downturn that we find ourselves in. So you would still be up 54%. So when I start talking about investing in antiques and collectibles, and I tell you that it is inherently risky compared to traditional financial assets, a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters, they come at me and they say, well, Sean, what about the financial crisis? What about certain things that happened over the years? What if everything goes to zero? Which is a completely ridiculous statement to even make. You need to understand that over a 20-year time span, you can pick any 20-year time span you want. People who were investing in index funds never lost a dime. As a matter of fact, all of them made money. And in most cases, the returns were more than substantial. Now, it is true, if you chose to invest like 2 years before the financial crisis, during that span, you were probably a little bit upset. But if you just held your investment and potentially added more to it, literally today, you're looking pretty. You got to remember, guys, time really changes our perspective on events in our life and also investments and opportunities that we've had. And you can apply this concept to relationships. You can apply this concept to your professional career. You can apply this concept to business. You can even apply this concept to investing in antiques and collectibles. There's a lot of people that over the years tried to argue with me with Collectible X is going to be the biggest investment going forward. And they put their money in Collectible X, and here we are 10, 12 years out. I have to ask them, how did Collectible X do? And they don't want to talk about it. Or they come to me and they go, Sean, I doubled my money in Collectible X. And I have to say to them, dude, all you had to do was put that money in an S&P 500 index fund. You know how much money you would have now? You would have more than doubled it in that time span. In most cases, there are exceptions to every rule, guys, really. But it's very hard to hit a home run in the antiques and collectibles trade. If you don't believe me, one of the things that I love, when I get into really heated discussions with hardcore speculators in the antiques and collectibles trade, these people will tell me, Sean, you don't understand. I have this item here that I paid $50 for, and now it's worth $500. And if you want proof, I bought 2 of them. Last month, I sold one for $525, and I had no issues. Look at my gains. My gains are higher than that of an S&P 500 index fund. And I have to gain my composure, and I say to them, okay, what else did you buy? Well, what do you mean, Sean? I have a room full of this stuff. And that already answered my question. In other words, it's equivalent to old Grandpa Joe's fishing story. This person bought all these items in the antiques and collectibles trade. And what he's doing is he's nitpicking the ones that went up in value, that went to the stratosphere. And he's attempting to justify those prices so that he can continue to buy antiques and collectibles going forward and calling it investment. Where if you took the aggregate average of everything that individual bought, I guarantee you he would not be able to beat an S&P 500 index fund. He would not have gotten these returns in just the past 5 years, even with the market downturn. Look at all these people that put their money in great at video games. Here was Reserved Investments, a guy, 1 o'clock in the morning, bad lighting. He turns on his camera and he tells you guys, do not invest right now in graded video games. You sell into the market. You do not buy into the hype. And I had people attacking me. I had people sending me horrible emails. I had death threats coming at me. And what happened? The market dropped. Why did the market drop so much? Because it was a speculative bubble. Do you guys understand how these markets work? It's just like, I'm going to quote Dave Ramsey right now, and I do not like the guy. Full disclosure, we are at opposite ends of the political spectrum. Dave Ramsey is a hardcore conservative. I'm a liberal progressive. But with that being said, there is one thing that he says that I do agree fully with. Dave Ramsey always uses this example when he talks about investing in the stock market through mutual funds, index funds, ETFs. He says, the people on a roller coaster who waited for the ride to end were fine. It's the people that get on the roller coaster, and I am paraphrasing what he says here, guys. It's not exact. It's the people that get on the roller coaster and decide halfway through the ride, they're going to jump off. They're the people that get hurt. So if we look at investing from that standpoint, that's how people lose money. You know, I know a lot of people during the financial crisis. During the financial crisis, 2008 through 2010, I was investing heavily in the stock market. And there were people looking at me, they were telling me, Sean, you're nuts. You don't know what you're doing. We're all getting out. I had people that were putting their money into gold, doing stupid things like cashing out a 401k, paying literally the penalty just so they could put the money literally in a safe in their basement, thinking it was more secure. And a lot of these people right now, they're hurting. I hate to say that, but they are desperately hurting. And they realize the mistakes they made. And where I'm going with this, guys, is it's interesting how time in anything changes your perspective. You know, a lot of people right now, they're looking at the overall economy and they go, oh my gosh, interest rates are at a 15-year high. Oh my gosh, if I want to buy a house, if I got to get a mortgage, it's going to be around 6-7% right now on a $300,000 house. Even if I come in with $100,000 cash, that's like $12,000 to $14,000 a year in interest alone on that particular house. If we look at the stock market, S&P 500 index fund is down literally 10 to 15% per the year. It looks like the sky is falling. I got news for you. 10 years from now, most of you watching this, you're going to be fine if you just stay the course. You are going to be fine. It's true. You may encounter hardship. You may encounter a job loss. Something may come out of left field that just slaps you in the face with a stale donut. But overall, if you stay the course in financial investing, assuming you're going after a well-diversified portfolio put together with index funds, mutual funds, ETFs, and the like, you will most likely be okay. And 10, 20 years from now, you're going to be better than okay. And this is something we got to look at. Because when we talk about antiques and collectibles, the question that everybody has is, well, Sean, I watch your channel, I'm learning all these basics. Tell me, Mr. Big Shot, how do I invest in these markets? Well, that's where we're going to go next on this channel. And I thought that this conversation would be a good segue to introduce those talking points, because I have one or two types of people that come to me. There's the person that already has money, and maybe as a kid they collected comic books or baseball cards or coins, or maybe now they want to get into Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering, whatever it is. And they come to me and they say, you know, Sean, I watch your videos, I have money, I want to diversify into the antiques and collectibles trade. And they tell me my net worth is $500,000 or $1 million or $2 million or $5 million. Okay? Those people are gonna have a better experience overall because they're financially established than somebody that is trying to invest in these markets who is not yet financially established. Now, with that being said, because I understand that most of the people watching this particular video right now are not financially established, to those of you out there, you too can invest or attempt to diversify in the antiques and collectibles trade, provided you understand the risks, provided you understand the opportunity costs. Because I've said this before, guys, 1,000,000 times on this channel, and I'm over-exaggerating, probably not 1,000,000 times, but close to it in all actuality. A lot of you would be better off just putting your money in an S&P 500 index fund or a well-diversified financial portfolio for the long term than worrying about these markets. You know, we talk an awful lot in the financial industry, and also even when we talk about investing in antiques and collectibles, about diversification. Diversification in Wall Street and financial assets is opposite of that than diversification in the antiques and collectibles trade. Let me give you an example. During the wonderful comic book boom, during the pandemic, a lot of people out there decided to invest in Amazing Spider-Man 300, Walking Dead 1, Werewolf by Night 32. Now, with the exception of Werewolf by Night 32, and I do have some reservations even on that book, you got to understand, a lot of the stuff that you guys are going after are not top investment grade items that are truly rare. And I've said this before. If you want to invest in comic books, you are better off. If you come to me and you say, Sean, I've been collecting comic books for 10 years. This is the collection. This is the value of it. Honestly, I would tell you, if you're attempting to invest long term, you're going to hate me for this, in most cases. Now, I don't know what you own. I'm just going after a fake scenario here. You would most likely be better off selling off all those comic books and buying one mega Silver Age key and keeping it for the long term as a quote-unquote investment. Diversification in the antiques and collectibles trade is different than that of Wall Street. Please remember that, guys. When we look at a portfolio, a diversified portfolio made up of mutual funds, made up of ETFs, maybe individual stocks and the like, you invest in different sectors. You invest in, like, let's say that you want to own a total stock market index fund as your core holdings. You would also invest in a total international stock index fund as a core holding, because now you have exposure not only to U.S. markets, I'm doing this from the perspective of somebody like me that lives in the U.S., but you also have exposure now to international markets. Same thing's true when we look at bonds. You can go with a total bond market index fund. You can also go with an international bond market index fund. And of course, then you get to the sector funds. You get your wonderful REITs. You get your wonderful energy ETFs or mutual funds. You can invest in a healthcare sector. You can invest in consumer staples. The point is, you can build a diversified portfolio in that regard. When we look at collectibles, though, if you're going to build a collection of comic books, you're better off only having 2, 3, 4, 5 comic books in that collection that are mega keys in investment grade. That would be the end goal. It is not to own it all. If you want to own it all, or as Pokemon collectors would say, got to catch them all, you are more of a speculator. You are more of a collector. You're not on the investment side of the trade. And I can tell you a quick story before I sum this video up, guys. I have a guy that literally invests in sports cards. His collection is worth close to $10 million. He has 10 cards in his entire collection. That's how valuable those pieces are. And when he started out, he obviously is extremely wealthy to be able to have a collection like that. Let's be realistic. But when he started out, he traded up. He would go to the market. He would analyze the market, and he would look at certain cards that he felt were going up in value. He would buy them. Immediately when the market went up, he would sell them into the market. He would buy them, and then he would trade up for the next big thing. And he kept rinse and repeating that cycle until he got to having that particular collection. I can promise you one thing. If he would ever bring that collection to market, all the top tier auction companies would fight to get it. It would be a premier signature sale with his pieces taking top billing. That is how you invest in antiques and collectibles. You do not own rooms full of this stuff. That's collecting. That is speculation. That is not investing, guys. So where we go next on this channel, I'm going to teach you how to properly diversify into these markets. So I hope you'll join me. If you get something out of these videos, please consider subscribing. Please consider liking this video and also leaving me a comment in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.